Hi, in this session I will give you an introduction to Pims document control. Pims document control is part of the suite of Pims products, and it is used worldwide for managing documents in major capital projects as well as on operated fields. My name is Johnny Vik and I am the product owner of Pims document control in Omega. Pims is cloud and browser based, which allows for tight integration with your contractors, suppliers and other stakeholders. Pims efficiently supports the key processes of receiving, reviewing and distributing documents. It has features related to the follow-up of deliverables from contractors and suppliers, and if your company is a contractor, following up the deliverables to your client. In Pims you can keep track of all the revisions of a document, which documents were sent to who when, who has reviewed it, who has approved it, who has revised it, etc. etc. You can also control the confidentiality on individual documents. Pims supports management of multiple parallel modification projects, highly relevant when used in operations. You can create new documents based on templates and have the document automatically numbered. With our OneDrive integration, multiple users can work on the same document simultaneously. Having an efficient process for and keep track of all the correspondence is another key feature required by any project, which Pims supports. Pims has powerful reporting capabilities, both interactive web-based dashboards, Excel or PDF reports, which all brings the information about the documents and its statuses to the end users. Pims is scalable and covering small size projects to full-scale enterprise deployments with millions of documents and several thousand users. And Pims is used both by operators, project owners and their contractors to manage their documents. This session is a high-level introduction to the product. There are separate sessions available which covers other topics more in depth. So let me show you what Pims looks like. So I open up my browser and I can log in using my username and password, or I can log in using the authentication provider used by the company. That could be Office 365, which would give me a single sign-on experience. In this case I log in with Jane Engineer. This is a typical engineer user, and this is what she will see when she opens up Pims. After she has logged in, she will see an overview of the documents that she needs to review. If she is involved in responding to technical queries, those will be listed here. If it's a concession or deviation request that she needs to evaluate, or any other actions that she has inside Pims, it will all appear on this front page. To review a document, just click on the hyperlink and the review page will open. I can pull it up in full screen and I can use all the annotation options that are available here, and I can start making these comments directly. I did not need to check out this document. In Pims all the users can comment. Those that have been invited to review a document can comment directly in the document without checking it out, checking it in again. It can all be done in parallel. If another reviewer makes some comments to this document, it will show a little icon indicating that there are additional comments that have been added. I'll make a comment there. And there are many other options to use for making annotations to the documents. Pims also supports reviewing documents offline. In those cases, one downloads the file and make the comments using, for example, Adobe PDF Reader, and upload the PDF file. Pims will then extract the comments and incorporate it into the review process. Typical configuration of the workflow for review in Pims is that you have a set of reviewers and then one comments responsible. The comments responsible consolidates the comments and finalizes the review by setting the review status. That could be that the originator has to reissue the document for review, or that they may proceed to the next step. The commons responsible can also add additional reviewers, send reminders, etc. Of course, being able to find the documents that you're looking for is essential, and in Pims one goes to the Documents web app, and here you can search for your documents in various ways. So say I'm looking for a wiring diagram, I can just type in keyword wiring, and I will see all documents listed here. For the selected document, I see a little bit more information about the current revision of that document. For example, that this document is currently being reviewed. And here all the files associated with the document will be listed. That could be the PDF file or other files, the native file for example, which can be opened of course then by just clicking on the hyperlink or previewed. You can also search inside files, and one can use the attributes of the documents. So if I'm looking for a specific type of documents, say I'm looking for some kind of a report, I just select like this. We also have what we call navigation views. Navigation views is in a way a virtual folder structure based on the attributes of the documents, and you can have multiple navigation views. In this case I have one navigation view called Originator Review Status. It's one that has the originator code first and then the review status code. Click here and I will see all the documents for this contractor or originator with the review status code 2. I can also look at this navigation view, which is type discipline. I expand the procedures and I can click on the electrical documents. And the end users can make their own navigation views. Also in many cases it's highly relevant to be able to find the documents while you're on the run and need to check it by just using your mobile phone. So in this case I can log on using my user account. So let's log on with Jane Engineer. Okay, I log in and I get to the same front page as we just saw. I can then go to the Documents web app, which is designed to also work fine on a mobile web app, on a mobile phone. Search for wiring, for example, and all the documents with the title including the wiring keyword will be shown here. So you can see I see some of the key attributes of the document, and I can view the document by just clicking on the hyperlink. To get to this point that all the documents are available inside Pims, that the documents are distributed for review, etc., of course it requires some setup up front, and I'll show you a little bit more how this is all set up and the key processes of Pims. So first of all, we'll talk a little bit about the planning and follow-up of document deliverables. A quite standard approach is to prepare a list of which documents that is required by the project, including a plan for when to deliver these documents. This is typically referred to as the MDR. You can have a standardized Excel template that is used by all the contractors and the potentially internal engineering departments for providing the MDR, and import that into Pims. And the MDR would typically say something about which documents to deliver, of course, when to deliver them for review and for use construction, for example, and key attributes, for example, discipline code, document type, system, review class, if the document is required by operations, if native files are required to be submitted, etc. And after the contractor has submitted their MDR, this MDR is reviewed by the relevant stakeholders, and when it's considered as okay, it will be imported into Pims. Then the distribution setup can be updated. That could be can be automatically based on rules using the attributes of the documents, or it could be set individually per document. Another very essential thing in Pims is the process related to the review of documents. This is a quite common way of doing it. The contractor submits the documents for review, document control checks the documents, document control distributes the documents, the reviewers provides the comments responsible consolidates the comments, and the document controller sends the response back to the originator. However, this can be done more efficiently. The last, what I just showed you, requires of course quite some work to process all the documents, taking them from the contractor and getting them back to the contractor, for example. This can be automatic. So this is possible in Pims to set it up like I'm illustrating here, that when the contractor submits the documents are automatically distributed based on the distribution matrix. And when the comments responsible have finalized the review, the contractor is informed and can access these comments immediately and automatically. Of course, this is not necessarily something you can do for all your documents or for all your contractors. So in Pims, this can be configured by contract. So if you have higher risk and less mature contractors, you can use the quite traditional approach for managing the documents for review. And if you have lower risk or more mature contractors, this fully automatic approach can be set up. You can also do something in between, for example, that the receiving part is manually controlled and managed, but returning the documents back to the originator is automatic, for example. Anyway, it always starts with receiving the documents from the contractors. The contractors can utilize the APIs that we have available, so it is possible to set up so that the contractor can interface with Pims and send the documents automatically from their document control system and to Pims. But it can also be done by a user interface, and I'll show you that. It's pretty simple to use. So in this case, I will log in with a different user. I will be a contractor. So I log in as Paul Contractor. Paul Contractor also gets to the same front page, and depending on what kind of access the contractor has, he will see, for example, in this case, some correspondence to respond to, or to, in this case, evaluate a concession request that they are about to prepare and potentially send to the client. But in this case, the contractor will upload some documents, goes to the Upload Documents web page. To upload the documents, the contractor just finds the file on his disk or network drive or wherever, and drags and drops the file into this web page. Then, depending on if the contractor follows some rules for the file names, Pims can detect the document ID, the step, and the revision date automatically. The contractor can then submit these documents. Pims will give an error message to the contractor based on rules that have been set up. For example, the contractor cannot issue the same revision number once more, for example, or if the contractor has been requested to issue a revision for review and tries to bypass that step, he will also get the error message. Then, depending on how Pims has been configured, these documents either then goes for a check and potentially distribution by document controllers, or it can be fully automatic and go directly out for review and for information to the relevant users, depending on the distribution setup. And let me show a little bit about this distribution setup. So let me again log out, and I'll be a Jane engineer. As I said, it's possible to set up the distribution based on rules. It's also, and that could be based on then, for example, that all documents with a certain discipline code goes to these and these users. But it's also possible to set it up individually per document, or fine-tune it individually per document, so you can have some base rules that are applied initially, and then you do the necessary modifications for the specific documents. In this case, let me show all the people from the E&I group, and here I will see the documents listed. I can of course filter for the relevant documents, and here I can just update the distribution matrix directly. C is for commenter, I for information, CR is the comments responsible, etc. In addition to manage documents that are produced by external parties and also internal engineering department, you can also use Pims for creating and working on documents, including an internal approval process. In this case, I have a accounting procedure, which is a Word document, and with our OneDrive integration, Pims allows for several users to work on the same document at the same time. So if the user wants to edit this document, I just click edit in this desktop app, and I'm not checking it out. What is happening is that all the users can do this, and they can work on it at the same time. This is all inbuilt features from Office 365. And when a document is ready to be distributed for approval, I do that from Pims. I click on the Initiate Approval button, and based on who has been set up as approvers, the users will be shown here. In this case, there's a verifier and approver, and I click OK, and they will be notified and can verify and approve this document. And when the document is approved, it will automatically be considered as the current revision. I also want to show you some of the reporting capabilities in Pims. Here I have a dashboard that shows several key metrics from Pims. That could be the number of documents that has been issued for review, actual deliveries versus planned, and a forecast, issued for construction. This one shows the number of documents that has been issued for review to date, planned versus actual. We have some charts here that shows a little bit more about the quality of the documents that has been delivered, how many documents have been rejected, how many didn't have any comments, for example. I can click on any of these charts to hide or unhide. You can also see these numbers not only as absolute figures, but also in percentages. Here we have one, how many days it is from the first revision issued for review till it is issued for construction per contractor. It can also be shown by discipline. And the average number of comments per review, how many documents are delayed in the review process. Another interesting chart is this one actually, which shows the review process time. So this green one is how long does it take to process incoming documents. This could be basically 0 if one uses the fully automatic option available in Pims. The blue is how many days the actual review takes, and the orange one is how long does it take to process the return of these review comments back to the originator of the documents. Again, this can also be 0 if you have set it up to use the fully automatic options. Okay, so that was a little introduction to Pims document control. As I said, we have other sessions which goes more into the depth of specific features of Pims. Thank you.